Ever get that feeling when you're trying to play Fortnite and bam, you get killed out of nowhere? Or maybe this happens when you are trying to work from home. You click on your company VPN and bam, connection refused. Well, my friend, this is happening because some hacker is messing with you. Welcome to my channel, your daily dose of cybersecurity. And today, I will teach you everything about network setup and security so that you can become an expert and finally be able to brag to your friends that you know more than they do. But we don't have all day, so let's dive in. In the first section, we will cover everything about LAN setup, wired versus wireless. Then in the second section, we will discuss how to stop hackers from attacking your network. Finally, in the third section, we will talk about troubleshooting tools. Without any further delay, let's begin. Section 1. LAN setup. In this section, we will learn about wired and wireless LAN setup. And for this, we will use our favorite animation tool, It's Me Again. Now, what is the difference between wired and wireless LAN? Well, obviously in wired, we are using cables to transmit data, whereas in wireless, we are using invisible radio frequencies. But the important thing to remember here is wired gives you speed plus stability. Wireless is convenient, but there's always a risk involved. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about step-by-step setup of LAN, starting with router configuration. Once you have purchased your fancy router, you need to configure it before using it. Now for this, open your favorite browser and type 192.168.1.1. Here, replace 1.1 with the actual IP address of your router. This is a default gateway address, so if you forget the exact address, you can use command prompt or terminal on your PC and use commands like ipconfig or ifconfig to find it. And by the way, in Linux, we use ifconfig instead of ipconfig. Anyways, after opening the router configuration page, you need to set up the SSID name and password. Once done, save the settings and you are ready to go. Moving on to the next step. Once the router is configured, we need to connect our switch to it. Now, one very important thing to note here is the port we are using. If we plug our computer directly to the internet, it's called WAN port, which stands for Wide Area Network. Whereas if we plug our computers together without any internet connection, it's called LAN port, which stands for Local Area Network. So here we are connecting our switches to each other via LAN port. Also, if we want to access our computers via their IP addresses, we need to give them static IP addresses and make sure the subnet mask and default gateway match. Finally, we are ready to test our connections, so let's do it. We will run the following command to test connectivity to Google.com. Now if we see the response time is very low, which means we are connected to the internet. But wait, we are not connected to the internet, we are connected to each other. So if you want to connect to the internet, you need to enable DHCP server on your router. This will assign IP addresses to your computers automatically. And that's it, that's all about LAN setup. However, there are many more things to configure in the router like port forwarding, DMZ, etc. But that's for another video. If you want me to make a video on that, comment below. Now let's move on to the second section of the video, network security. First, let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a guy named John who was crazy about buying online stuff, especially when he saw those pop-up ads saying 70% off. One day he saw an email from his favorite online store saying that their app was offering a flat 70% discount. So he clicked on the link without thinking much. Little did he know that the website he landed on was a fake version of the online store made by hackers to steal user credentials. The moment he entered his card details, bam, the hackers stole his money. What happened to John is called phishing. So in this section, I will share 3 tips to stop such attacks from happening to you. First, enable firewall on your network. A firewall is like a bouncer of your network. It filters incoming and outgoing traffic and blocks suspicious activity. Second, use a VPN like NORDVPN or OpenVPN. VPN encrypts your traffic and hides your IP address, making it difficult for hackers to attack you. Third, use Wi-Fi encryption. Now you may have heard of WEPA, WPA, and WPA3, so the order of preference is WPA3 greater than WPA2 and never use WEPA. Before we move on, let me share the top 3 threats to your network. First is malware. Now, malware includes viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and ransomware. Second is phishing. We already talked about this. And third is DDoS attack. In this attack, hackers try to overload your network with a large amount of traffic. This makes your network unresponsive, and you cannot access it anymore. Now, to protect yourself from these attacks, you can use antivirus software and always keep your software updated. I know this is getting interesting, but unfortunately we have to move on to the last section of this video. In this section, we will learn about some troubleshooting tools. For example, how to check if your computer has got an IP address or not. To do this, we will use the command prompt tool and execute the command ipconfig. Now, this shows us many details, but the most important thing to note here is the IP for address, which is 192.168.1.11. Also notice that the default gateway is 192.168.1.1. Now, this means that our computer is getting its IP address from the router. Now, what if you want to change this or give a static IP address? Well, for this, we will right-click on the network connection and select Properties. Then go to Internet Protocol version 4 and click on the button Configure IPv for address. Now here you can give your desired IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. Next, let's talk about how to check the connectivity of your network. For this, we will use the following command: ping google.com. Now here we can see that we are getting a reply from Google.com. However, sometimes you might get a reply like this. Now, this means request timed out, and there could be many reasons for this. Maybe the problem is with your computer, or maybe you are not connected to the network. So to troubleshoot this, we can use the following command: tracert. This will show us the path taken by the packet to reach the destination. Now here we can see that the packet could not reach the next hop, which means there could be a problem with your ISP. So this is how you can troubleshoot your network. Now there's one more tool that I would recommend you to use, and that is Wireshark. This is a packet sniffer that can be used to capture and analyze network traffic. For example, if you suspect a hacker is attacking your network, you can use Wireshark to spy on the traffic and find malicious activity. That's it. We have covered a lot of material in this video, but I know you got this. Now, if you want to learn more about hacking and how to defend yourself from it, I would recommend you to watch another video on my channel. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please hit the like button. And by the way, I have a small favor to ask. Please subscribe to my channel. I know it only takes a click, but it really helps me grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.